This video is about developing self-respect and conquering skin picking. When I first started my healing process over 10 years ago, I tried to take the disorder on directly. And within doing that, all I experienced was stress and panic and being unable, incapable. The thing felt so big. And I soon changed my strategy to look at my life as a whole. And that's why I describe on my website, my mentoring website, to take a holistic approach to healing. I looked at my life as a whole, and I realized that in order to strengthen myself and my self-respect, I needed to strengthen many aspects of me before I take on this big dominant thing in my life. I mean, if you want to take on a big aspect in your life without having strengthened yourself in any way, then you're pretty much doomed to failure. I'm not closing any doors to say that it's not possible, because anything is possible. What I'm saying is that there is a way that you can increase your chances, and it's common sense. It makes sense when you hear what I'm going to say. So what I did was I looked at places in my life that were things that I do daily, and how can I develop my self-respect in my daily tasks. Now, why do I use self-respect here? That's because I asked myself, if I really truly respected myself, would I be doing this to myself? My answer was no. I had to be honest with myself that I didn't in fact respect myself. I didn't respect my body. And that's why I was so easily able to allow myself to destroy myself. So how do you develop self-respect? One of the ways in which I found most effective was to make decisions where I took into consideration my best interest, and then to follow those decisions through. And to basically stand up in the small things that I decide to stand up within, do them to the best of my ability without resent, without complaining, without feeling overburdened, to take on life gracefully, and to develop a standing in small things like cooking. I mean, cooking has been one of the biggest supports in my entire life, and it seems like such a little mundane thing that we just have to do every day, and it's kind of a hassle, and it's not that important, and this and that. But cooking has actually, I could say, been a lifesaver. I decided to learn how to cook, and then I did. I learned how to cook. I could cook food that was edible instead of little piles of brown slop, which I used to cook before I knew. And to then, once I knew how to cook, learn how to cook without anxiety, and then take on the responsibility of cooking in the household where I cook every day. And at first it's like, oh, I have to cook again, and oh, why doesn't so-and-so cook, and oh, what if they don't like what I cook? And there was so much mental activity and analysis going on the entire time that it would just send me into anxiety and to skin picking, until I made the decision that, you know what, I'm going to cook for this household, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to make it my moment, put on some music, put on a TED Talk, have fun looking up ingredients, really organize myself, like read the recipe and take all the ingredients out, and make sure I've structured my day in such a way where I have enough time, and to like perfectly time a meal so that it comes together into this delicious dish, or a disaster. Who knows? Even if it's a disaster, you can work with that. So cooking was one of the ways in which I developed self-respect, because I saw that I can take on this task, this obligation, and I can do it with every ounce of me, and make it an expression of myself, and really enjoy it, like make it mine. There's a lot of other ways. Like I started practicing yoga, and I would go to yoga classes after work, and I would really do that just for me, and I would develop a routine with it. And I always didn't keep it up for too long. I'm not like one of these super structured people who does the same thing for years and never misses a class. It's like, I constantly was judging myself for missing classes and not keeping it up and whatnot. But the point is that I did it. I was able to do it for a few weeks or a month. Over the past 10 years, yoga has been in and out of my life. But the thing is that I have it as a tool now that I can practice. I understand it. I, let's say, transcended myself within it. I used to be too embarrassed to go to a yoga class. Or if I did go to a yoga class, I would be judging myself so much and looking at all the other people and their beautiful bodies and skin and just comparing myself, and so I made the decision for me to do yoga for my best benefit. And then when you walk the decision, you confront all the challenges and the obstacles that you're going to encounter when you decide to take a stand within anything. Um, so, there's examples like eating better, going to bed on time or at a certain time, having a morning routine, uh, even taking supplements and stuff for your body and remembering to do it every day, walking my dog, taking better care of my dog, doing writing, journaling every night. I did that for a few years. And it's like all these little things that seemed like individual standalone things. I knew that if I strengthened and developed myself within all these little things that were not huge, all-encompassing problems in my life like the skin picking was, to take on these smaller things, you're actually like placing bricks in a foundation of strength and self-respect, because you're choosing to do something for you and you're following it through. You're developing a skill or an understanding or a little bit of education about something, and you're actually building yourself as a more full human being. A wholeness comes through, and a self-respect emerges. And man, this can be applied in so many ways, and it can actually be quite fun. I mean, I know with skin picking and the anxiety and the stress and the uncomfortability that we exist with, fun is like this thing that is like on some next horizon when we have clear skin, and something that we scarcely experience. But when you create yourself, it doesn't come easy, and it doesn't just all of a sudden happen. There is a creational process that takes place that is at first feels a little bit unnatural and uncomfortable. And the fun comes through in these tiny little poof of a moment. Like, oh, that was a little bit fun just then. Wow, fun. Whoa, what is this experience I'm having? What isn't my life all torment and depression and waiting and anxiety? And then you have this little poof of fun, and it's like, oh, okay, I see there's more to life, and I'm actually able to touch on it. I just have to make decisions and see them through. And I'm not talking about like become a fitness fanatic and go jogging for an hour every morning. It's like, no, don't burden yourself more than necessary. Take the little things in life that are already there. Take the little things that you see you might be able to enjoy and test them out. And don't be down on yourself if you're not able to do it every single day. I mean, I never was able to do that. But look, I still developed the self-respect because I put myself out there and I tried. And I did the best that I could in the moments. So this is how, when you spend some time and you invest yourself in these other ways, you're actually broadening yourself. And then guess what? 10 years later, I'm in a position where I can withstand the urges, in a position where I have a huge scab on my body and I won't touch it because I respect my body too much, and I know that my body's working hard to heal it, and I know what I will put myself through if I rip that off constantly, and the scar I will leave, and I respect myself too much to do that to myself. Now, that didn't happen magically. It happened over years, over a decade. And this is why I'm placing myself in this position of mentor. Because, I can use the cooking example again here where, let's say you want to cook butter chicken. It's one of my specialties that I love making, and everybody loves when I make it. Butter chicken. Now, if you don't have a recipe, it's not a hard thing to make. But if you don't have a recipe, the trial and error process before you get the exact right spices and cooking times and ways to prepare the meat, it can take you years, I don't know, months, whatever, to figure out how to make butter chicken without a recipe. But if you have that recipe and all you have to do is follow the steps because other people have already perfected it and are now giving you the information, you can do it in one night. You can make perfect butter chicken simply because you have the steps, you have the information. So the process that I've walked that's taken years, where this self-respect, I didn't even recognize it until years later, until all of a sudden I had this strength and this respect that I wouldn't dare cross. It took me years of trial and error to see what was working and what wasn't, but I can walk you through the things that exist in your life that you can use to develop things like self-respect. Now, this is just one application. This is just one point, one thread in my healing that I can share. There's so much more. So, as always, I invite you to work with me and let me be your mentor. Let me walk you through your healing process from my years of experience and success. One of my guarantees in my videos is no filters, no makeup, and no hiding. So my skin is my proof. My skin is my personal reminder. When I feel like shit, I just have to look at my skin and say, yeah, I did it. I'm doing it. It's a constant marathon of a process, but I can walk around with the tank top on and no makeup and feel good about myself and remember the work that I've done. And all I want to do is share that and have other people be able to experience it as well, so that everything that I've learned can extend beyond just me. I mean, so what? So one person with the disorder is now walking around with clear skin and a solution. It doesn't matter unless we are able to work together and make this solution bigger and touch more people and have more people take their lives back, because my life was nearly wasted on this disorder, and I saw how I could literally keep it up forever. I mean, I'm almost 40 now. Back when I was 19, when I discovered this disorder had a name, I just thought, I have time. My skin bounces back. I heal. Well, now I'm almost 40, and the thing had just gotten worse over the years. And I saw that I could go into 50 and 60 and still have it. And I let go of the hope that it was just going to go away and decided to take it on by the horns and decided to take a stand and make a commitment and a choice to heal. And now I want to share that with you. Okay, I hope this video helped. Self-respect, how to develop it in the small ways, working around the disorder instead of taking the disorder head on without developing skills in yourself first, strength in yourself first, because you're going to need respect and strength and so many other qualities to be able to keep up the consistency required to walk the recovery process. Okay, that's all I'm going to share for this video. Leave a comment, talk to me, schedule a chat, my website. Check out the links in the description. Okay, thanks. Bye.